Alright, this should be a pretty quick one. I'm just going to be kind of documenting the fact that I finally finished building this behemoth of a set here. Now, I'm not going to be going in depth through everything because I'm sure there's hundreds and hundreds of reviews you can be watching other than this, but I'm going to take a look at some of the things that aren't as frequently mentioned. And yeah, let's get into the first thing, which is the fact that I bought this on Bricklink. So, as I'm sure you know, Bricklink is a very popular secondary market and doesn't need me to say, oh yes, you should or shouldn't go to Bricklink, but we're going to take a look at first these minifigs here, and we're going to see if any of them reveal any of the risks buying secondhand. So it looks pretty good, pretty good. Yes, Han Solo did come with a quarantine buzz cut, which is the first point I'm going to make. Is it's important to always know the risk you're taking with shopping on something like Bricklink. You gotta know your Bricklink risks. You gotta know your brisks. Now with that out of the way, we'll take a really quick look around here. I think the back side of this model is one of the most spectacular looking parts, but that hyperdrive is hard to capture on video, but that is one of the best looking parts of the ship. And we're going to take a look at a few of the features that I think aren't really mentioned but are important to know if you're going to consider forking out the money for this. Now, it is a 2011 model, so it is a bit pricier to buy secondhand. You obviously can't buy it new. I paid about $175 for this via Bricklink, and you can see it did come with one or two issues. The first thing I really didn't expect, but quickly realized after the build was complete, was just how tiny the cockpit is and how little room there is in there. I'm going to throw Bald Han and Chewie in there just to show you how little space is actually in there and how much you have to work to get that in there for displaying, of course. So I've managed to squeeze those guys in there. Now it's hard to tell, but including their accessories, which is Han's blaster and Chewie's bowcaster, I really had to squeeze them in. The bowcaster's kind of angled in his hand there, and Han's arms and Chewie's arms, they have to be perfectly angled to be able to get that cockpit piece back on. So it's not really an issue in any sense, but something to keep in mind. Know that they will fit in there, so don't get discouraged. Now, the fact that they're holding on to their accessories there brings me into a second point I had, which is once these are all opened up here, there really is not many places to store accessories. Now, that would be clips on the wall, or studs with a hole in them, something that would keep things secure. There is this bucket at the back which should have a wrench and a hammer in it. Again, watch out when you're buying on Bricklink. But anyways, anything dropped in there is not going to be secure, right? There are a couple clips on the wall. If I come down here, you can see these at the back. That clip right there could hold a blaster, and there's one also on the other side. But other than that, I mean, if you want to put Leia to bed, or if you want Luke over here playing with the droid, then they're gonna have to be holding 2 accessories each if you want everything to stay together. So it is something to keep in mind that I don't see a lot of people mention. I will say that the build was incredibly enjoyable. It goes mostly, of course, the foundation, mostly Technic, and then it gets into the floor, and most of the interior is actually done before you see anything exterior. Now, coming around here, if we want to look at some of the cool features, this is kind of hard to access, but it is a little compartment where they can hide in. There's plenty of room for Leia to kiss her brother in there. And then there's a similar one on the other side, which is actually the little walkway to board the Falcon, which you can see down here. No real way to get a minifig under there, but I guess you can pretend. I've now kind of arranged everybody where I would have them for display. Of course, you got Han and Chewie in the cockpit, steering and stuff. I like to have Luke at the back with the droid, which I don't know the name of. that kind of shoots at him and trains him to block with his laser sword there. I think that's pretty cool, like action scene, so that's nice. I've got Leia is usually sleeping in the back, contemplating her life now that Han's got a buzz cut. I come over here, I've got Obi-Wan over at the holo board. I guess he's old, right, in the original trilogy, so he must be easily entertained. So that's him over the holo chessboard. Also don't know the actual name of that. And then, since he doesn't really fit anywhere else, I have Vader looking at the computer screens. I guess stealing some plans or something. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense that Vader's in this set, but I mean, I won't complain at all. If we close everything back up, the side panels do have to go in a certain order in some cases. The back middle has to go down before the sides, yet the front middle has to go down after the sides, which is interesting, but doesn't really matter. There is plenty of room for the figures. That is one thing I was concerned about. They'll stand up no problem in there and won't get crunched when the walls come in. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to document the fact that I finished building this, and definitely don't regret any of the purchase. Despite Han's buzz cut, we'll be getting another hairpiece soon. But yeah, other than that, I just did admire the look, and I guess I'll have to find somewhere to put it. That last point I made there about finding somewhere to put this is actually a concern you may have if you're considering buying this. Now, I have this here, and obviously it's hard to tell on video scale, so we'll compare this to one peppermint Tic Tac for scale. Now, I don't know how big a Tic Tac is, but if you have one, go grab it, measure it, and see, this thing is huge, absolutely huge, and you might need to find somewhere to put it. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, especially because you don't want to leave sets like totally out in the open. They'll collect a lot of dust and you'll be dusting them for the rest of your life, especially with these gaps in here. I mean, the interior will collect dust too. It won't just be a matter of cleaning up the outside. Really nice details in the back there. They are stickers, but kind of necessary stickers. Of course, articulation in the turret and stuff, but this isn't a review because there's a lot of those out there.